What's up, agents? Patrick Wolf here. Welcome to another Division 2 build video. Today's video is going to be the Dark Winter SMG build. We can get over 250% critical hit damage utilizing this SMG, and it is not the backfire. This is the Dark Winter, which is a variant of the Vector SMG, and this has the beautiful talent called Perfect Killer, which does refresh. And I didn't really rate this talent too well, and I wanted to give it a try, and I think I found the perfect combination for it. In this footage, just pay attention to how much damage I'm outputting, the RPM of the gun, and the way that the NPCs are absolutely getting melted. And it's quite astounding because normally, you guys know me, I like to have survivability in my builds, and this one doesn't have as much armor and kill and armor regen stacked as what I normally would use in solo legendary content, but it still works. As you can see, it really does work. If you use it correctly and you focus on just abusing burst damage, it really does work, because you would probably be wondering, have you stacked damage to armor or damage to targets out of cover? And I have not. I've just focused on critical hit damage. Now pay attention in this video. You know, damage to targets out of cover, damage to armor are good, but they can be situational. And I've just focused on critical hit damage because 60% of our bullets are going to be critting, and because we have stacked so much of it, we're going to be relying on it to just try something different. I'm not saying anything is the best or the worst. I just wanted to do it and make the build like this. So we're focusing on crit and utilizing this beautiful SMG, and just enjoy the footage and we'll get into the build afterwards.
Stop them flanking us! Target in my crosshairs! Dead.
Enemy in range. Back off!
Friendly unit.
Someone help me! Stand by! Coming to you!
Aim for the head this time! Target! Hold that! Sword ahead! Friendly is down!
Right, hopefully you guys enjoyed that gameplay. Let's get into the build itself. Now, with reference to what I stated earlier, the survivability of the build is actually quite decent. I mean, we have over 30,000 armor regen from the memento stacks, and extra weapon damage, over 110k a bullet with this Vector, which is quite scary considering the RPM. That's why we are able to hit such high numbers, and over 250% crit damage. But it's important to note the memento stacks skill efficiency and skill health, that's skill damage. So our defender drone and our shield are going to be benefiting from that greatly. Remember, our defender drone will actually tank a lot of damage because of its health value, and our shield will go from mid 2 million health to over 3.5 million health with the memento stacks. And obviously it's dependent on what kind of stats you have with your gear, but we're going to go through different combinations of variations, how you can adapt this build to give it even more survivability if you need it. But this is going to be great for solo PVE content, the most difficult, or just legendaries, or even just heroics. You can play this with this in a team. You will melt. It's a really good build, and I want to showcase it to you guys. So let's go through the specialization. First and foremost, I will be releasing an in-depth guide on the specializations because I haven't done it before, and I see a lot of people running the wrong specializations in videos, and just in general the emails I've been sent from you guys. sometimes the wrong combination. So I want to go in depth and go through it in detail. That video will be coming out this weekend. So let's go through why I've chosen Firewall. Now, you don't have to use this, but it's important to note that you get a lot of extra damage from this special striker shield. Quite a bit, so make sure you do utilize it. It does help yourself and your teammates who are behind the shield. We do get a bunch of other things as well. On armor break, we actually apply burn to enemies. In the footage, if you guys paid attention, I rushed in and I actually was about to die. The only thing that saved me was fiery response. So it's important to note it doesn't work in PvP. This is mainly a PvE build. You could use it in PvP, but we're not going to talk about that today. It is really strong, and it actually saved my life. So this can be very, very potent, especially when you get a bit too aggressive and you need to step back. This will save you, so it's very important. Make sure everything else is active as well. Then this armor kit is the best armor kit in the game. You recover 200% armor and health over 10 seconds. Very, very nice. Make sure we have SMG damage up and assault rifle or whatever secondary weapon you want to be using. Right, so let's go through the build, guys. So we're going to be using this beautiful Dark Winter. Go and farm it, try get it. It's very, very good. The damage goes over 110k a bullet with this build. Like I said, 1.1 million armor is a sweet spot for DPS builds without going full DPS. That's normally what I like to use. 1.3 if you really want to be more survive more. But as you saw from the gameplay, sometimes having a bit more burst damage is beneficial. You can get rid of the NPCs before they can even shoot you. So I've got 1200 RPM. I did try this build with a 3-piece striker, and it does very good damage, but the numbers just don't add up, and it's not as good as this, but it's even more fun to use. As you guys know, I do enjoy the 3-piece striker. So we got Perfect Killer, killing an enemy with a critical hit, which is very common and very easy to do. Grants 50% crit damage for 10 seconds. This refreshes, so you basically have this up the entire time. It never goes away. The problem is you have to be very quick, and sometimes you won't have it up. We'll go in the firing range and I'll give you guys a demonstration right now. Right, so let's go through this quickly before we move on. So this weapon is very strong. This is now on heroic, and we're going to put this just onto a normal elite. And I'm going to showcase the damage as well, so we can go through that. Now remember, it's important to note that Intimidate, which we have on this build, will only actually activate once we get a kill. So once you get that, you get it. So there we go. Perfect Killer is now active. We are hitting huge numbers, and as you guys can see, it is refreshing. Even if it doesn't proc, look on the right hand side of my weapon. It will keep refreshing, so you will basically have this up the entire time. Even body shots with this SMG. Look how it shreds. It's absolutely ridiculous. Almost 600k with that amount of RPM is just scary. So let's finish going through the build. So when modding this beautiful weapon, what you need to do is balance it out between crit chance and crit damage. So critical hit chance, I've put all of them, but it's important to note that you really do want to be using this tactical short grip, which gives you 10% crit damage, the best in slot. So try and put this one on, and just go ahead and cross-reference with your statistics and make sure you don't go over or below your 60% critical hit chance. The secondary weapon is going to be whatever you want, completely up to you. I would recommend using a long range weapon. Maybe even the Pestilence would be quite decent, even though Intimidate doesn't actually work correctly with the Pestilence. So just use something that can do damage from range. I would recommend that. And then 1.1 million armor for this build. And we have got mainly the critical hit gear set that gives us crit damage. So we have got the 1-piece Grupo, obviously critical hit damage 15%, and the two Sockle of Concern with a more critical hit damage. It's quite a simple build. Memento, which gives us a lot of stacking. We'll go through that now in a second. Now this is where you can change it up. If you have enough crit chance, you don't have to use a Cheska. You could use another improvised pair of gloves right here, which means you can add you could add 24% critical damage on top of it. So that is completely up to you, but I like this because it gets me to that 60% crit mark, which is important because remember, we are relying on critical hits to do damage. That's why we don't have damage starts out of cover or damaged armor, even though that would be good. We are focusing on crit for this gun. That's why, just a side note, I do have critical hit damage rolled on the attribute as well. That's not normally what I go for, so just remember that, guys. So we are focusing on crit. Now you're probably wondering, we could use the exotic mask. Yes, you could do that, but obviously the utility from this bag is just too good to pass up. So what I would change about this one is, like I said, improvised. Now, and then you would go over here and use Yield Faithful Fox's Prayer, but I didn't want to use that because obviously DTC, we're not stacking on this build. I wanted to try something new, and on this piece I'm getting just under 24% critical hit damage, which is really, really good. And you could even do that with the gloves, like I said. So the one-piece groupo, we are just stacking crit damage, crit chance, just to get our 60% crit chance. It's that simple. All of my modifications are going to be crit damage mods. So one groupo, 2 sock glove with Intimidate, which will proc from the short-term buffs of the memento bag. That's why it's important to get damage up so you can hit very hard. So the sock glove holster, once again, max out crit damage. Very, very nice. And then we're going to move on to the bag. So the backpack is very strong. The short-term buffs, I'm not going to go into too much detail because I have reviewed this bag. If you guys want to have a look, link will be in the description. So weapon damage is increased by 5%. This is on top of it. 10% bonus armor that gives us Intimidate, and then 5% skill efficiency, which is everything basically with regards to skills. That's why the shield and the defender drone are so potent. We get a huge amount of health, and for our skilled drone, for our drone and our shield from stacking memento stacks. So we will get up to 30% weapon damage and 30% skill efficiency and 3% armor regen, which equates to about just over 30,000, which is really nice. We regen quite decent. Our defender drone tanks a lot of damage, and we are hitting extremely hard. Like I said, over 110k with a fully stacked memento. Then moving on to the gloves, like I said before, you can put whatever you want here. It's completely up to you guys. If you want more armor regen, you could put one-piece Belston armory, but I don't really recommend it. I feel like the armor regen is enough the way it is. As long as you're bursting those NPCs down, you'll be good to go. So the gloves, crit damage, crit chance, I've rolled armor. Knee pads, I've gone for improvised. Go craft them at the crafting bench. It has a mod slot on the knee pads. Critical damage, 11.6 as the mod, and then rolled 12%. Hazard protection, I would have rather had crit chance, then maybe I could have taken away the Cheska and have even more critical hit damage. So for example, if we pop these on right now, our crit damage will be 217%, which is huge, plus the additional 50% from the gun. But remember that our crit chance will be difficult to obtain, therefore we have to remove some of the mods, and you actually could potentially end up with less than you initially started with. So that's why I normally say to you guys, you have to gauge it yourself. Just go through your crit chance and make sure you're not overdoing it. I am overdoing it by 0.5% somewhere there, so it's quite good. I'm happy with the way I've got it set up right now. That's why the one-piece Cheska can save you from, wasting time on mods or that nice underbarrel attachment. Now there are ways you can get more critical hit chance easier. Like I said, I don't have it rolled on the chest, and I don't have it rolled on the knee pads. So that's where I'm faulting. If I wanted to improve this build, I would probably do that and put the gloves there. So that's the only thing I would change about it, but it's completely up to you and what kind of RNG you have. And we all know that crafting gear pieces can be a pain in the ass, especially these improvised ones. It's very difficult to get good rolls, and you're going to need a lot of materials. So just keep that in mind. Statistics, you guys can pause the video and go through it whenever you want. You can see my crit damage, everything there. Like I said before, you saw some gameplay. You know how it works. I never need to go through this in detail. I don't think it's a waste of your guys' time, if I'm honest. I don't think it's going to help you guys too much. Defender drone, make sure you utilize this. The health of it goes up immensely. It can tank a lot. It's really, really good damage reduction towards you. It's great. I love the defender drone. It's great with the memento bag. Also the shield, make sure you put the striker shield on, mod it to put the damage mods on top of it. It's very important. I can't seem to mod it right now. There we go. So make sure you guys have shield health, damage bonus 5%, or whatever percentage you have. So we've got just over 2.5 mil. We get over near about 3.5 million. So it adds almost 1 million health to our shield with fully memento stacked. So it's quite important to have the memento to give us utility on all of these other elements. So let me know what you guys think of the build. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, go in the comment section. Tell me how you're going to change this build to suit your own playstyle. And if you did enjoy this video, please leave a thumbs up. Consider becoming a member by clicking the join button on my main page. With that being said, I will be seeing everybody in the next video. Peace out, guys.